What's up, guys? I'm back at it. Finally getting around to things. Happy New Year's. Shot the last video before the new year, so this is coming back into it. End of January, busy work week. Our work schedule for the month of January for me, being in the fitness industry, everybody's got to go to the gym. New Year's resolution, so I haven't had much time to work on the car, but I got some time to go ahead and do some things, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you what I got going on. Excuse my mess for the most part, but basically this is what we got going on. We have a fully built A20 block ready for turbo with all types of shiny fittings and OBD1 distributor adapter plates and turbo manifold. Inside the block, it has custom diamond pistons with bored to 84 millimeters, and it also has B20 connecting rods in there. So the rods are set up so that this will take a great amount of boost. It was built by a previous member that went by the name of Boba Fett. So this has barely just been broken in, hasn't even been tuned or anything quite like that. So this will be really the test block for any turbo action I got going on. Over here you'll see that I have the spacer with a B series flywheel for all-wheel drive, couple all-wheel drive trannies. Basically I'll be mating that guy up since it's the most complete. This one's missing the transfer case, but I have the transfer case in the back of the Accord, so that's not an issue. But I'll go ahead and put all this together. I'm going to be mating this transmission to the block after I put the flywheel and all that stuff on. So I just kind of wanted to show off some little things that I may have not gotten into detail about. Shout out to Jeremy Gallows for making me this flywheel spacer. His first attempt at a flywheel spacer, he did pretty good. Even put the hole for the dowel pin that goes right there from the crank, so everything lines up perfectly when you go ahead and put it on there. These are, I have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure these are flywheel bolts from a newer Accord, like an 08 or something like that. And then the washers just there to make up for some of the space difference, because they didn't exactly have one just as small. Sure, I could have trimmed the bolt a little bit, but you can see how fine these little threads are. I didn't want to mess up those very fine and coarse or fine threads, so I'd rather just run that, and that will help with some of the vibration as well. So basically at this point I'm just gonna go ahead and mount some stuff up, talk to myself. I'll record it so you guys can see it. Some things will get sped up, other things won't, but that's basically it. So I hope you enjoy. Let's get to it. Excuse the wind noise, it's kind of windy here in California this time of year, so we got a bunch of wind storms going through, so it might be a little noisy, might not. So we'll go ahead and go from there. All right. went to the junkyard one day, since I'm the king of junkyard and everything, and I seen the CRX that I pulled the third transmission out of. That guy right there, that's my third transmission. This one right here. And I seen when I was pulling it off that the CRV that I had pulled it off of had this nice, I don't know if you can see it, nice exidy clutch in it. Let's see. Yeah, you can kind of see it right there. So it looks a little beat. I'm sure they were fucking hot dogging it, but for this trial and error, I'm gonna go ahead and try it, and then I'll shell out for a better one. And then it also had a nice exidy clutch to go with it, or a pressure plate. Let's see, right there you can kind of see that it is a spec 1.1. Side note, I have a spare pressure plate. This is an old flywheel, but I have an even better ATC clutch and pressure plate to go over here. This is a stage 2, so I'll be eventually running that instead of what I got here, but I want to make sure that everything works and stuff like that. Doing a clutch once this is all together isn't really going to be the hard part. The hardest part is getting everything together. So some of you might be wondering, as far as this clutch alignment tool goes, you'll use the tool for the CRV or Integra for the pilot bearing. That's going to be the one that you need. So go ahead and line everything up like so. And then let's go to my miscellaneous bolt bin. Keep all those things around. So I got the miscellaneous flywheel bolts. In true fashion of breaking rules, I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing. Camera cut out, trying some new stuff with the GoPro. So this plate right here is the first plate. This guy is the prototype plate. You can see there's no axle hole here, so I had to cut that, and no starter hole here. Had to cut that. Did a pretty good job. In the last video I had mentioned that I had cut it. You can see I cleaned it up a little bit. It looks a little bit better than it did when it was in there. This is plate number 2. This plate here has the axle hole cut ahead of time, and then they added Alan added the material on the back to support the transmission, as well as give us some place to bolt that extra thickness through. The original plate, I had to make a spacer like this because it didn't have it, that I was just going to place somewhere back here like that off of a mount to make it. I went over that in the last video a little bit, but this is what we got here. So what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to show you some close-up spacing things, and then I'm going to mount this plate on there. I have all the custom hardware. I'll have to go back through in another video and tell you exactly what hardware I used. I did have to source my own hardware for it to cut everything down and make it fit, but that should work. But you can see this is the second plate. I cut this starter hole here. Not as good as that first one though, but this is plenty of space to clear things. So we'll go ahead and start with this. I got a couple M10 bolts. That's it. Here we go. Couple M10 bolts. You can see there are various lengths. I did have to cut them down to size to get them to fit. You can see like that. This is the only full size one. They're all hex head bolts so that they can fit through the pre-drilled holes that are countersunk for this. Now you can see A2B plate, B series flywheel, space for the starter. You can see the spacing between the plate. The biggest downfall you have with the A2B plate is that you lose the timing mark here that was on the A series flywheel. So you're not going to be able to really see the timing mark anymore because there's no A series flywheel. So there's that. However, if you got a nice pulley, there's timing marks right there, so you can still TDC the TDC the block by using the timing marks. So there's that. Basically, we'll go ahead and put in this hardware and then go to the next stop. Pause that. We're gonna come back. I just noticed on some of these heads, you can kind of see it, but they're a little chewed up, so I'm gonna go ahead and trim them down just a hair. Shouldn't make too much of a difference. So I'm gonna pause, go grab my angle grinder, and come right back. All right, back with the angle grinder. I'm just gonna go ahead and trim these off of here. So this one is a shelving mount hole for the CNC machine, so is this one. And all the rest of them are through holes or bolt holes specifically for the transmission. So without further ado, we'll lower the transmission down, and I'll go ahead and put the transmission on. Alright, I'm back. Had a little technical difficulties. Memory card was full and the battery died. Should have planned ahead and got a bigger memory card working with this new GoPro. Well, with that being said, I don't even know where that last part left off. I'm sure I'm gonna have to speed things up and do some editing in the video later, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that I got all the bolts in here for the plate. I'm over here lining the plate up. Kind of a pain in the ass to do by yourself. Also considering that the transmission, I don't know if you can tell, but the transmission is flat on this dolly, and the plate has the transmission turned 12 degrees, I believe, so that it sits properly with everything. So if you look right here, you can see how it's sloped slightly, so the transmission goes up like this instead of flat like this, so that it sits in the engine bay properly, and doesn't hit like the distributor adapter plate or like the water neck or any of that type of stuff. So it's kind of a pain to excuse me, mate everything up. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and finish doing that. That's basically where I'm at. So we'll go ahead and put you back down and stick it something like that, so you can see me working my Crocs. So after a bit of struggling and moving stuff around and dead batteries and everything, I finally got it close enough to where I think I can get the transmission together. Just got to line up that dowel pin. Got this one pretty close on this side right there. Got to do this side over here. Then I can throw in some of the bolts and that'll be mounted up. And then I will save the rest for another day. Pretty close. Losing some daylight, so I won't have too much more time to deal with this today, but just wanted to get a start on it so that I can have things close for the next step. All right, so now we can see, before the battery dies again on my GoPro, the plate is all mated up. I only got a couple of the bolts on because I still gotta do the rear mount right here, these two and this, and then over here I got the top two bolts in holding it, and this 17 down here holding it. It's got the bolts drilled out for the dust shield, or for a dust shield, so I'll have to custom make something for that. But yeah, A to B. Woo. That's that. So in the next video I'll come back and drop it in, add some of the accessories that I need to put on there. Got a couple mounts and some stuff to put on. These guys here, gotta put this guy on here. This is a front motor mount. I made an adjustment, I slotted that, so that's got to go on there. I have to put the starter on and the starter bracket. That goes on, which is pretty easy. I'll probably just do that here. And then intermediate half shaft mount. So I have to do this, put this on there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I got in store for right now. Hope you guys enjoy. Be sure to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. There will be more things coming along. Things will start speeding up from here on out. For the most part, I have most of the stuff to get the car together. I will have to take the car over to the homie Dana to have them do some have him do some fab work that I can't do here, like some welding of some cold piping, and finish the downpipe on my turbo manifold. But aside from that, maybe even make a rear mount. We'll see how that goes. But other than that, that kind of wraps this stuff up. So I'll see you guys next time. All right, later.
They told me I wasn't gonna get far. So I told them like this, look. My adversaries crumble when we rumble. It's a catastrophe on anybody who tryna hate, come and blast at me. I've been in this for a minute. See how I graduated from rookie to beginner, but now I'm winning on the road. Backing up and selling our shows, but let's rewind the tape a bit and let them all know who came to rock the floor, Jay, who knocks the most. Willis. I creep up on the come up, whether they hate it or feel this. Next in line to come and battle me quick. Man, you don't wanna see me in this circle. I'm killing you, kid. Young Jay, I'm bad.